Welcome to another episode of Guess What's Coming to Dinner. I am one of the hosts, Dara Lashley.
Hi guys, my name is Salome Danoon.
I'm Michael Dwayne Paylor.
And we are joined by the amazing actress, writer, director, Pratigya Paudel.
Hello, listeners.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am so excited to have you.
I'm very excited.
Yes, yeah. Pratigya is just coming off of a shoot.
Oh, God. Yay! Glad I look like this.
You look amazing. Stop.
I brushed my teeth and that was it.
But it's good. You stay working. Stay creating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Even when you don't feel like you are.
Do you?
I feel like Michael has helped me with a lot of self-tapes, and I feel like I've probably done a lot of, I wouldn't say complaining, but maybe complaining about myself, and because I feel like you were saying something with your eyes.
No.
He probably.
My eyes don't say anything.
Oh my God.
Subtext City.
Subtext. I do not know how to play subtext. Terrible at it.
I
really?
think you do.
That could never be true.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
You're
That's a straight
something.
lie.
Ask Tony. He'd be like, "You suck, Paylor. Get off my
He does
stage."
not.
No.
When I first saw you,
He
by
says
the
it
way,
with his eyes.
No, he doesn't. He hasn't said
When you
that.
first saw me,
you
what?
Look at him in his eyes to know what he's saying.
All right, so let's get into the first segment, which is our actor segment called Well-Seasoned Artists.
And today we are, listen, all right, y'all, do not come for me. Do not try to cancel me because I would like to highlight this actor. I know he's going through some things, but I'm setting that aside to speak about his accomplishments and his work, okay? We're talking about Jonathan Majors today, who I am a huge fan of. I know the allegations are there.
Are you
That ain't
familiar
none of
with
my
the
I am
allegations?
familiar. I also heard that on sets and stuff, there was like just in general things,
Of skeeviness.
skeeviness and just like what do you call it? Aggressiveness.
Oh.
Also, I'm not denying he's a fabulous actor. I agree. I agree.
He is. Okay, look. We're just
Listen,
gonna-
I too was disappointed, and because I don't want to, but genius does not cancel out
assholes.
bad behavior.
Right, exactly.
But a good actor, of course. Great
Yes.
actor.
And that's what we're talking about right now, okay? This is well-seasoned artists. We're talking about the actor side of him, okay? So, after graduating from Yale University with a Master of Fine Arts in Acting, Majors rose to prominence for starring in the independent feature film The Last Black Man in San Francisco in 2019. In 2020, he gained wider notice for starring in the HBO television series Lovecraft Country, which is where I first saw him, actually.
I never finished it.
Okay. For which he received a nomination for a Primetime Emmy Award. Majors has since portrayed Nat Love in the Western The Harder They Fall, 2021, Jesse L. Brown in the war film Devotion, 2022, and antagonist Dame Anderson in the sports film Creed 3, 2023. Since 2021, he has appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as different iterations of Kang the Conqueror, which this whole debacle is about to mess all that part up. But
Not Marvel.
it's unfortunate. Majors has described himself as having had a difficult childhood, growing up with drug dealers and murderers for neighbors who wore ankle monitors on their release from prison. As a teenager, Majors was arrested for shoplifting, suspended from school, or suspended from high school for fighting, and lived in his car while working 2 jobs after being kicked out of his house. He eventually found a safe space in the world of theater, where he found some solace and joined after watching Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, in which he felt Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker to resemble the criminals with moralistic dualities he grew up with, for his complexities of good and evil. And that led him to become an actor, so he could inspire others like Heath Ledger did him.
I find that wild when I hear about an artist who's successful and what inspired them.
Right.
He was inspired by The Dark Knight. It's that feels so recent to me.
I know. I
I was like,
know.
how old was he, and how old is he now?
Well,
I
he's
think
like
only
38.
No.
Younger than that?
He's younger than that.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure he's
He's a bulky.
like 34.
He's a bulky boy.
All right. I don't know.
His muscles, I know, but I think the bulk kind of makes you seem older. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Rock
But-
looked 54 when he was 17, so the bulk.
The Rock?
Yeah, you seen a photo of him?
No, but I heard he's thinking about running for president.
Dwayne Johnson?
I mean, wasn't Ronald Reagan?
He was.
He
Yeah,
was.
so. And then Donald Trump. So
Well,
Yep.
Donald Trump is just a cartoon.
Honestly.
I don't think he knows what he is.
Literally. Oh my
But
God.
Jonathan Majors.
I really I love his acting. I'm sorry. I think he is very good.
Did you see him in Creed 3?
Yes, I did.
I liked how his body, his mannerisms all reflected that he was in prison for so long. Like even when he came out to the ring, the way he moved, it's like so many choices he had to make and stick to them. And like, I love actors who really take a big swing.
Right. And see, that's how I felt with him about in
The Last Black Man?
The Last Black Man in San Francisco. That character was so put together. I mean,
Even there was a part where he was studying his play. And he
Yeah.
was playing 2 different parts.
people. Right. I
Excuse
mean, his
me.
performance.
Nah, you had enough time. It was like 2017.
I haven't seen it.
2019.
I was gonna say.
But okay, no spoiler
It's been
alerts.
3 years.
But his performance is just
How many
so
years?
good.
you said how long has it been?
2019.
Okay, it's 4 years. Oh my.
4 years.
That's just 4?
Yes.
So you know how many things I've done that has kept me from seeing this movie?
I mean, the world ended right after the movie came out. So
First few weeks of the world ending, I was chilling. It was like the first time I read a book in years.
really,
Yeah, I was like, oh.
So today we're having fried chicken, Korean fried chicken.
right here.
Bulgogi fries, and Korean donuts. But okay,
donuts.
so I'm tasked with telling us, sharing knowledge of the history of the food. So fried chicken has its roots back in West African culture. And while I was like looking up this little history of the food, I saw that in Scotland they used to fry chicken in fat.
They used to fry chicken
listened to
in
a podcast
fat.
about
Fat, yeah.
What
I
kind of fat?
heard, now don't quote me on this, I just heard it on a podcast, so, you know. But I heard that fried chicken, I mean, it changes over, like, time and where it's, you know, at and everything. But technically, it did, the origin I heard, it was from Scotland
Yeah.
originally. Which is, like, it's not something that you would imagine, right?
Yeah,
No,
which is crazy
because-
because they said
You're very white.
West African. No, they said. Well, when I looked it up, it said West African, but it's very like complex, like finding the origin. So
And it
I did
changes-
see
changes
like
over time.
Scotland too, but it would make more sense that it came from West Africa.
Well, they probably just did it better.
Who? West Africa?
I mean, I'm assuming.
No, the Scottish. No, I'm kidding.
You said they fried it in
Obviously, West
fat. What type of fat?
It didn't say what type. It just said they fried it in fat.
When I was
Which fat is very like oily, so it would make
Yeah.
sense.
What do they fry it in now? Like, it's just oil?
Oil.
well,
speaking of oil, because like I'm from Nepal, and like we have our little foods and snacks and whatever that's like Nepali based. And I had my holiday recently, and I was at my cousin's, and we have like this. What do you call it? I don't even know what the American term for it. It's like a little finger food or like snacks, whatever that you toss in oil. And we always did it. I never thought about what oil we used, but in Nepal it was always like mustard oil. So here we also used mustard oil. And then they told me that technically mustard oil in America is not FDA approved or anything. So I was like, so I've just been like consuming mustard oil all my life.
Well, just because Americans don't approve it doesn't mean it's not good for you.
Yeah, but I didn't
Probably
realize
good
it.
for you.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay.
It's probably better than the others, but there's
Probably.
because other countries don't approve food that we eat here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, the story goes that during Thanksgiving one year, American soldiers stationed in South Korea wanted to prepare a meal that reminded them of home, but they had no access to turkey. Instead, they used chicken and decided to fry it and then shared the meal with their fellow Korean soldiers. Most commonly, chicken was eaten steamed or broiled in Korea. And so the crispy delicacy caught on quickly. So the secret lies in the double frying method. That's why it's so crispy. The chicken is first fried at a lower temperature to cook the meat through. Then it's fried again at a higher temperature to crisp the coating. This process creates a crisp exterior while keeping the meat inside juicy and tender. Now, this is probably why you're allergic, because it says another factor that sets Korean fried chicken apart is the seasoning. Traditional Korean chicken is typically coated in a sweet and spicy sauce. It's like a Korean chili paste, and other seasonings like garlic, ginger, and soy sauce. And then sometimes the chicken itself is marinated in a mixture of buttermilk, spices, and sometimes even fruit juice to add flavor and tenderize the meat. So this step ensures that every bite is bursting with juicy, flavorful chicken. And the chicken is served with pickled radishes and beer. Yeah. So you ready to go into Let Me Ask You Something?
Ask me something.
You ready?
Okay.
Alright. So this is the first question we ask everybody, and it goes, what inspired you to be an actor? Go.
Oh, wait, I think I do have an answer, and I never have an answer. So this is going to be a long podcast. I remember having a conscious moment, and it was because it was a white man moment. I was watching The Crucible with my class in my 11th grade AP composition class. And now, like they were just The Crucible, I did not really enjoy that movie, honestly. However, towards the end, and everybody was talking, and I hate when people I was that person, just like, shut up, I'm trying to learn. I wasn't very popular. But, so I was watching this movie being annoyed at everybody for talking too much. And then at the end, I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie.
No,
Just based
I've
on that
read The
Arthur
Crucible,
Miller.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. So right before he's about, spoiler alert, to be hung because they've accused him, Daniel Day-Lewis's character, of being a witch. And, of course, he's not a witch. And they're saying, you know what, too many people have died. Just sign this. Just admit that you're not. Just say that you are a witch, and we won't hang you. And he's like, fine, whatever, good. But then they give him a piece of paper, and basically has to sign his name, saying that he is a witch, and then they're gonna let him go. And he just like goes in this thing. He has this internal thing where he's just like, he's like, I can't do it. And they're like, why? And then he goes on this monologue, like, because it is my name. And he's like starts really like having this monologue, and it's so visceral, and he's been like in jail or whatever for the last 9 months, not brushing his teeth, and you can tell. He probably went method for that too. Because you can tell because he kisses his wife before he gets hung, and you can see that he's holding her head because she, like the actress, is like moving back because his breath is so bad.
Oh my God.
My goodness.
But yeah, he's just like, he goes on this huge spiel about, it is my name, I cannot give you my name because I am not worth the, I don't know, dirt on the feet of whatever. but it was so visceral, and I, sitting in that classroom, I got goosebumps, and it was like a really visceral moment, and then I went home, and I literally watched that scene over and over on YouTube about at least 45 times. Oh, wow. It was just, like, I've never had a visceral moment like that. So I can't say that was the moment where I was like, okay, I'm going to be an actor, but that was like an important moment for me.
The seed was planted.
The seed was planted.
Yeah.
And then I had moved to Delaware the later half of my my high school career. And then all my friends there, for the first time ever, they were all in theater and musical theater. And they were all like, yeah, I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to be this. And I was like, oh, I guess I am too. Like, I didn't realize you could be until, like, they mentioned it. So those things together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, what's been, I mean, you've done a lot of different things on stage and film, but what's been your favorite role on either?
I liked, I feel like as great as it is to just kind of make something yourself and then form a team around you and then do that, like I did Juniper last year, which was a lot of work, but I felt very accomplished, and I liked, doing that and telling my story and all of that. And like last night, I shot something that I wrote also, and then formed a really great team around me that was so helpful and just made everything, better. But I do kind of just like being an actor. I can't say. So it's probably in somebody else's thing where they're just telling me what to do. Or, like, I've had people from class sometimes just once in a while just ask me, hey, do you want to direct this? And the thing is, I didn't write it. So it's like, it just feels like I'm just being creative and just having fun. I know one time I did something for Tyler Andrews. He was acting with Tom Schmidt, and Haley H was, like, filming it. And I just had fun because I showed up in my sweats. And I was just like, oh, you should do this and you should do that, and directing them.
Was that the one where
I didn't go to the screening because I think I was working or something, so I didn't see it with people.
It's the one where his friend, they got in an accident and he lost his memory.
Oh, right, yeah.
You helped me do a self-tape for that audition.
I did.
Yeah.
I wasn't part of casting.
AJ helped me do mine.
I saw yours. I saw
Yeah.
everybody's.
Listen,
You had to
it's
be-
the nature of the business. What you gonna do?
Listen,
fine.
I'm not. That's what I mean. I wasn't a part of I was just like there. I wasn't part of editing. I did what I did, and so the hands-off nature of that was like fun, or it's just like being a part of somebody else's. As long as they're nice and they're fun to work with, and they don't get on my nerves, and they're not awful to work with. I enjoyed being on somebody else's set and just being told what I'm doing. A play coming up with Ryan Irving, and I'm so excited because I'm just acting. I'm so excited for somebody to tell me what to do and not do anything other than act. So those kinds of things I love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So how do you balance, like, all these things, producing, writing, and then having your own personal life? How do you balance all these things?
I feel like my personal life is this because I have like nothing else going on. I think, like I said, I'm not a type A person.
What's a type A person?
Type A people, I can see certain, like, people who have like in my mind multiple like organization lists, like calendars and planners and everything, but they use it. They use it consistently, and they know how to use it, and it's helpful for them. They know how to be on track, on time, they know how to
Self-motivate?
Self-motivate, but just kind of have a structure that's consistent. My mom always tried to make me have routines when I was young, and I would write like, 7 a.m., wake up, 7:15, brush my teeth. Never worked. So, like, I'm not that person, but I think, like, finding an organization system that works for me and, like, being as prepared as I can is how I try to balance it the best I can. So now I just have, like, this app that's just, like, a to-do list, and it's not, like, super structured. It's just a list, and then I can just cross it off because I can't have anything be too structured. because it doesn't work for me. I can't have planners. I can't have calendars. I have like very simple things.
Do you feel like you're rebelling against that structure?
I'm just so, I don't know, maybe I think I need to be sedated or something, because I'm like so disorganized. And I'm very ADHD, and I've like not been diagnosed with ADHD because I don't have the money to like get myself diagnosed or the healthcare. But I know I am, and I'm also very OCD, you know, and I also have anxiety. So there's like a lot of things that go into that. So I think it's just too much. It's too much. I can't. Don't give me a calendar and a planner. And also, those boxes are not big enough.
It's true. That does bother me about planners.
And I try to be organized and structured beforehand in my own way and try to plan it out as much as I can. That's why, like, on sets now, like, I keep on mentioning Liz because she was, like, the MVP of this set. And if anybody, she is definitely somebody to work with because she was basically my artistic director, and she went above and beyond. Like, insane level.
Nice.
And and I was so much more relaxed on this set in terms of all that stuff because I was delegating, and I think I'm learning how to delegate, and that's how I organize. But yeah, and then I would like to have a personal life. I think that's coming back. I think last year I was doing a very good job of just having a personal life and not working as much. And then I went back. So.
Are we talking about Liz Reynolds?
Yeah.
Shout out to Liz Reynolds.
Yes.
Liz.
Shout out.
She was like a PA one day on What If, and I was so scared because we were filming in what did we film? What is
Mount
it called?
Airy.
No, where there were like a bunch of people and the Ferris wheel and
Oh, the carnival?
yeah. But we were filming in this area, like a very public area, and they asked us if we had a permit. And she was like, it's a park. Why do we need a permit? So having her was amazing. So hi, Liz. Thank you. Yeah.
And you guys were able to film.
Penn's Landing. That's where we were.
Penn's
Penn's Landing.
That's near where I live.
Yeah.
That's South Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't know.
Okay, so how do you mentally and emotionally prepare for your roles?
Rehearsal. I do a lot of rehearsal for filming. I don't, because I learned, I think, somewhere along the way, we all know that in class we can have scenes that are like 20 pages or whatever, and somehow we'll learn them all, 20, 30, doesn't even matter, we'll learn it all, we have the ability to be word perfect or whatever, mostly, right? And we know it, and we can do it quickly, I think, because I've seen everybody do it. For some reason, consistently, and I'm including myself in this, there's something about film scripts where it could be like 3 pages, and you're up there, and you're like, wait, what's my line? And I think there's like a disconnect between like the preparation you need that is supposed to be the same preparation. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the environment is different. So I learned that I was doing that and not being as prepared as I can be, and there's no excuse because I can be, because I do it in class, and so does my scene partner or scene partners or whoever they may be. So now I have it so that, like, me and Ryan started rehearsing last month consistently. And that was good. And we still kind of sometimes, like, would, like, mess up on some of the lines. And it's like a 7-page script, you know? So I think there is a disconnect. So I think rehearsal. I direct in rehearsal. Because if I'm acting, I'll direct you in rehearsal. And then I took videos of us and kind of made, like, a small movie of it in my phone, just to see if it flowed, and then to see my acting also, because I'm, like, directing somebody else, and then I'm not directing myself. And I might be sucking. Likely possibility. So that's what I do. It's like rehearsal all the way. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back to you doing a lot. Like, you do so much, and you're working pretty often, right? Like, with auditions and all of that stuff. And
yeah, it's coming back. I think this year, like, especially during the strike, because I wasn't getting as much stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So, since you're so in it in that way and you're actively auditioning and all of that stuff, how do you handle like the rejection and the setbacks that might come up in pursuing it that way?
I think I'm sure Tony said this, and I'm sure everybody like on interviews, like we've heard this before about doing an audition and then just letting it go. And I realized I wasn't letting it go. Like I'll forget about whatever audition I did, but after a while, especially this year, not getting so many things consistently, and then after a while, you start thinking, wait a second, what's going on, you know? And so that was like hard for me to be like, do I suck? Am I a bad actor? Like, what's going on? And kind of, that's when I think really had to learn how to just let go, but also try to do the best I can in auditions, because there's something about the self-tapes, and there's something about auditioning in general and doing the thing, where I think I won't speak for other people, but for me, when I have to try, I think one of my defense mechanisms is for my body to play possum and not do as best as I can, to not prepare as well as I can, and use all of my neuroses that I have to kind of aid in me playing possum, like whether it's ADHD or whether it's anxiety or whatever, to not sit down and prepare at fullest, to not like sit down and look at the script and just, really like do my homework or whatever. There's something about like me knowing that I could fail. Like I will like travel to, like I think especially last year, I would like travel a lot to New York. And that's the bus. That's like 2.5 hours or 3 hours. One time I walked from Manhattan to Brooklyn for some reason because I was on the bus for so long, and realized, bad idea, guys, there is a river. So apparently you can do it. And then I had to take a ferry, and I was like, how do coins work? What? So that was confusing. Walked under a bridge, went to an audition. It was an all-day long thing. Then they called me for a call back that night. I had nowhere to go. So I just like, so it was like I can like take a lot of fatigue, but there's something about trying that I have to make myself try. Like I can go to all that trouble and then not try. So now I have to somehow like look out for that and be like, let me give it my all, and if I don't get it, I don't get it. At least I know I did my best. Yeah. But like be conscious about letting it go. Yeah. But giving it my all, and being okay with that, and letting my efforts be, I don't know, not that it's fruitless, but fruitless, Yeah. In quotation marks. Yeah. It feels like that sometimes, like, oh man, shit, I prepared that much, and then now nobody's calling me back. Yeah. What did I do? Where it went into the void.
I mean, but they did see you at least. You know,
exactly.
Even if they don't use you for this, maybe they'd call you. I think Tony has said it's about auditioning for the people in the room rather than like trying to get the job. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it made me, like, reflect whether, I did have, I think this was the first time, like, this year where it made me think, well, do I really have what it takes to have that rigor and, like, go through this business that's so hard and is so different from the craft. And just, it's tedious, and sometimes it's really boring, and it's mind-numbing, and it's hard, and it's, like, it makes your stomach kind of, and you don't have all the information because this is not the area that, and nobody taught you. So I don't know how you guys feel, but, like, this was a year where I felt like, do I have the willpower? Am I actually a strong-willed person, Yeah.
Well, maybe it means that you have to do more of creating your own opportunities.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Building your own table, which you are doing.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
And it's a lot more work, but, I mean, the other alternative is waiting for someone to accept you or give you permission to do this thing. And possibly not choosing you. And it could be for a number of reasons. It could very well be not because of your acting, just because they're looking for someone who looks different from you.
Which I'm supposed to be trending right now, guys. I'm like a brown-skinned immigrant. Let your parents know. Come on.
So, Juniper, it was exciting to see.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
Solomon came to my shoot with a leather jacket and everything. I was like, oh my God.
I wanted to come too, but I had to travel.
Didn't, so
out of
And Dare was there.
Yeah. And in the panel, you were talking about how Juniper, it was cool to have your mom in it and everything, and how it sort of like highlighted aspects of your culture. So what kind of stories do you plan on telling, and will you stick to stories that highlight your culture in some way or shape or form?
I do want to stick to stories that highlight my culture, even if that's the story's not about identity. Like with this one, the one I did last night, the only highlight of my culture was me, but there's not enough time. But I do want to use it, even if it's like just like the way a set looks, because who the person is, because there are little things in my room that highlight my culture.
Yeah.
I don't notice it every day, but it's there. So even if it's in that small set dressing kind of way, even if it's to the sideline, I do want, because I'm there, and if I exist in that world and that set and in that story, then somebody like me would have to, unless they're, I don't know. Yeah, so definitely. Story-wise, I think I said it in the panel, I never really intended to, like, tell stories about, like, my own self in that way, just because although I do like talking about myself, I also don't like talking about, Michael, talking about, like, things about me gives me, like, kind of anxiety, like things that are negative or kind of make me feel, like, the whole OCD thing. I don't know, somebody mentioned a rom-com last night. And man, would I love to do something like that's like fun to watch, but also fun to do. I have a few pieces that I've written and some longer things that are like still in process. But I don't know if those I can just do everything myself, and I think I have to relinquish control because I'm gonna go nuts. I'm gonna need somebody to like direct me because I don't think I can keep doing that. That's like a lot. But yeah, I guess the projects that I'm thinking of, I guess it does. I mean, especially the one I've been in writing this feature, and I started it like a little over a year ago. And that's definitely, like, about me. So that's definitely going to have some highlights of my culture and just, like, myself in there. Because I guess if you're trying to find stories, even if you're not trying to tell it about yourself, you do end up, like, going there because what other information do you have but things that you learn?
Yeah.
So it just kind of happens by itself. You don't even need to make that conscious choice, I think.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for Juniper? More festivals, releasing it to
I don't
the
know,
public?
bro. I was gonna do like a second round of sound mixing, like a really like professional sound mixing that I got a contact, and but like I'm like looking at my checking account. So I said no, maybe I won't do it, but then I was like no, I'm for sure gonna do it, and now I'm like going back and forth, because if I do that, I would do second rounds of festivals and stuff, and like see how it sounds with like a professional mix, and then me and Julianne, and especially me and Julianne, would probably have to do some ADR because it's a little funky in some places. I might do that. Sometimes I'm very impulsive and I just bite the bullet and I'm like, let me just do that. I'll work 3 extra shifts. I don't know, 4 extra shifts and earn the money back. Especially if it's like being done for me for a good price for like the length of the film. And you can't expect people to like not charge you, right? But money is a big thing. It's like if we had the money.
All right. You did. Juniper was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you guys
Very
again
well
for being
done.
so supportive.
Yeah.
Of course.
So good.
Question. Was it your idea to have it lit the way it was?
My idea was the color was in the script. Like, I had more specific colors. Like, I wanted to use a lot of color, especially in the party scenes and stuff, and especially as the movie went on. I wanted to use more distortion of sound and of color, and the way we shot, I wanted to be kind of off-kilter. I had, in my mind, I had it more, or in the script, I had it more as, like, let me have a certain color for Julianne. Like, she's more of a cool tone, and that's how she's separated, especially as the movie goes on from the rest of the, like, for example, the party, which is friends, and their warm tone. So I wanted to become more and more evident. So I was giving each person or each group kind of colors and more of a progression with that, with color and sound as it went on. So that was always intended. I think by the end of it, we didn't, just because of time constraints and everything, we didn't end up doing it like that, like specific coloring, or specifically how I had it, but we did end up using a lot of color because of that. And in the hallway chase scene, I was like, yeah, no, make it experimental. Like, make it, like, really, because they were, like, saying it's going to be too much, and I was like, no, I want it to be, let's just go.
What made you decide, like, even in the script, to write color into it? Because it reminded me of Across the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man film, and the way they use color for the characters and all that stuff.
I think because when I started writing it, I wasn't intending it to be kind of like a slight, like a horror or thriller or whatever, but I was just writing it how I wrote it, and it just kind of became what it was. And then in that, I realized, well, what would be appropriate for this film and what can aid it. And since it was already going in that track of it being like, a little bit off kilter reality, and I think that was also a way for me to make it more dramatic, but make it like less soap opera-y. Like, one of the questions at that screening was, how do you make it not so dramatic in a way that's like soap opera-y, right? And this is definitely something that could be like that. So I was very conscious of that. So I was like, let me lean towards it then, but make it kind of like experimental in a way, so that it kind of becomes like like the reality of like having certain anxiety stuff, or it's not fun. And it's very gray. I think it's not colorful, and it's like very tedious and annoying, and just mind-numbing sometimes. So I think having that like carnival kind of type of colorfulness and just having it be like a ride makes it more palatable anyway.
Yeah.
But it also made it more fun for me, and there's like some similarities of using color and sound to having certain like mental health issues where it is like a fight. And so in that case, if you make a bad guy and a good guy, or, and kind of have those tropes, it makes it more palatable, and it makes it more fun for me, and it just, I think, tells the story better in a way that maybe the audience would be more interested in, and not be like, oh no, this is about this. I don't want to spend a half hour watching something about that might, make me a little depressed.
It definitely made it very interesting to see each shot. And every second, you kind of wanted to see what was going to happen next. But I definitely got that same feel from, like, the Spider-Man type film.
Oh, and I do like Spider-Man.
Did you guys see it?
I still have to watch
Spider-Verse?
that. No, I haven't watched it yet.
You guys
The
gotta
latest
watch
one,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the latest one. I've seen the others.
The animated one, though.
Yeah. I know. I know.
Okay.
But yeah, credits to like also like the editors and the DP and the cinematographer there too. They were also very, very instrumental in that, of course.
Yeah.
Am I talking a lot, guys?
No.
No,
Sure?
you can actually
No.
say
I feel a
more.
little
Yes.
drunk. So cut me off when. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
No, you're doing amazing.
Okay.
This is a good segue, though, actually, into this next question, because you're kind of talking about your approach and process to Juniper, but I'm curious to know what your approach to your writing is in general, like what your writing process is like.
I do like to visualize, because some people they like write and they're like, yeah, it just came out of me, and then you just finish the story. When I'm doing that, I'm like, my hand hurts, because I like to write longhand. And then if I don't write longhand, I'm on the laptop, I'm like, I'm thinking, like, blue light is probably not good for me. And that's the thought that's going through my head. So I like visualizing. So when I started doing that, I found it helpful when I started being more intentional. Okay, I'm going to make a movie. I'm going to make it because I need some control over what I'm doing. I'm going to make it very short. I'm going to make it 3. That's what I was doing for, like, Tuesday for the creative crawl, we wanted to do it like short, like 3 pages max. Because I was like, let me make it like 3 pages or less, and make a story of one scene. But I made the film Destination with Emily Yonker, who's in LA right now because she doesn't love me.
Destination, is that the one at the beach?
No, that's the one where I'm like,
You have like cancer, right? And
Yeah.
you're going away.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm like leaving because I want to go see the world or something, and I'm saying goodbye to a friend. But I was outside my parents' house, and I was like, let me just sit down and. Oh no, this was for another one that I still have to finish editing. But it was basically like I was having a little bit of trouble, so I was like, let me just think about it from beginning to end, and I realized that's what worked for me. And sometimes when you're in the middle of thinking about the story, you start losing juice, like when you're daydreaming, but without like having a plan. It's like fun. Something is like you're like riding an emotional wave or whatever. But at some point, your body gets fatigued, and then when that started happening, I was like, no, I gotta push through. And that was the experience that led me to realize, oh, this is the way I write, because then I know, and then I can think about it in detail, and I can like see if it flows, and then I have it, but then I have to write it down, so I don't forget anything.
Like immediately?
Kind of, yeah. Or like I have to keep replaying it in my head, otherwise like I forget things. But if there's something specific, like a specific dialogue or something that I know I'll forget, like I have to write it down. So that's the way I do it. It's just like beginning to end. And sometimes I have to like motivate that daydream to start. It's kind of like in class when you have to prepare. Like when you don't have to prepare and you just like want to think about a sad thing, you just start crying because it just happens. But when you're in class and you have to prepare, you're like, maybe you feel nothing, and you're being made to do that, so it doesn't come to you right away. So you have to sit there and relax your body, and like, maybe do a couple of takes in your head of, I don't know, your mom dying or whatever, to like if you're trying to like cry, and it's not working in the first couple of times because you're not in that mood, but then your body starts like accommodating you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of like that, where you have to jump start it until it starts feeling right, and then just keep going and just keep going and just keep going until you have a whole story. And it's okay if you lose it, and it's okay if it starts being boring and you don't feel like it. Just, that's not wrong. Just keep going. I'm not a big believer in if it's right, it'll come to you. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes you really have to push through and let it be very mundane until you, and then I write it down.
And then when you write it down, are you ever actually thinking of the like technical aspects of writing?
All the time. Oh, what do you
Yeah.
mean? Sorry, I'm
Like-
answering questions without knowing what you're saying.
Well,
Sorry.
now I'm curious to know though what you thought I was saying. Like
I
by
thought you meant like
technical-
technical, like staging and like beats and like those things, but I don't think.
Yeah, no, kind of. That's what. Yeah, that and like the whole 3-act structure. With the inciting incident and all of that stuff. Are you thinking about that while you're writing it all down? Or?
I'm thinking about that. I don't think I think about it in terms of like where's my inciting incident and where's my rising conflict and where's my whatever climax and whatever. I think of it as like a flow. So I think of it as like watching. I think that's why I like to visualize. I think of it as like watching a movie or watching TV. So whenever I ask people who aren't like an actor, like, hey, do you think this, do you think my self-tape here seemed good? Do you think I performed well? Or do you think this movie was whatever? And they'll be like, yeah, I think so, but I don't know. I'm not a whatever. And I'm like, but that doesn't matter. We've spent our entire lives like reading books and watching movies and watching TV shows, so you might not be able to articulate why something sucked,
Right.
but it sucked if it sucked.
Exactly.
For you.
Yeah.
It's good if it's good for you because you feel it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think of it like that.
Okay.
If it feels like it has all the things, necessary things, and then if it doesn't, then like you go back, and that's hard for me. Rewriting and editing is like hard for me. Yeah.
How many drafts did you do of Juniper?
6, 7?
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you in between get feedback from different people, or did you just go in on your own? And
I asked Tony, and I gave him like the script in paper because that man will forget if you email him. Because there's a couple of things I've emailed him, and he said he'll get back to me, and he has not. But I should have given it to him in paper because then he'll remember. But he's like very good at being very detailed with his feedback.
awesome.
Like very, very detailed. but I do ask other people also, and I was talking to somebody else about this the other day, where now I learned my lesson. I think I was talking to Ryan Irving about it. I learned my lesson of not just asking for open-ended for feedback, because sometimes they'll start talking to me about grammar and like how to write a script, which is great if you're like pitching a script to somebody but right now I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to make this film, so please don't talk to me about grammar. And like I'm using too many words to describe something, and I'm using passive voice instead of active voice. I just want to know if it's a good story, if there's structure to it, if there's a good dialogue, if everything makes sense, if there's clarity, things like that. So now I'm very specific about like what I want to know, so I don't have to waste time with like somebody telling me that I'm taking too long to write a description.
What have you been up to? I mean, we know you've been working on another project. You've been shooting it yesterday. What has your experiences been working professionally? Because you also be in commercials. So what was that like? And what type of advice would you give to your peers who want to embark on that journey?
For those, always bring something to do, because you'll have a lot of downtime. So bring something to do that is maybe productive, like writing or something, because there's a lot of downtime. I'd say make friends with the people who are doing like your hair and makeup and stuff. This is something I'm learning now that I didn't realize. Like, try to figure out somebody who in the set, especially commercial sets, who's like not like I think the highest tier, but like somebody who's like a producer or somebody like an AD, second AD, whatever, because they will not give you your footage or like your commercial, or like if you're doing a print job, and that's kind of what you need to book more jobs, because you got to build your portfolio, right? They will not give it to you. Sometimes they do it, but a lot of times, like, I'm still like, and you don't want to be annoying and keep hounding them and you're signing these papers and stuff, but you need those things, right? So I think like being kind of having a good relationship with somebody on set that's in that side, because then you can contact them and maybe they can help you. That's a good one. And also, I never thought about this, but apparently like with those SAG card stuff, because I'm not SAG or anything, even if it, like for example a commercial is SAG, they don't just, they might have limited numbers, so sometimes they might not even give you your thing, even if you did that so it's a good idea to make friends with somebody there, to be like, hey, I would really appreciate, and make sure you ask. Otherwise, I feel like you don't just get it. And I thought you would just get it if it was like a SAG set or something. You don't just get it, apparently, from what I've experienced and then what I've also read. So I think making friends with people, and then also knowing that, like, staying out of the way is a big thing. Be very aware, because sometimes, depending on where you are, they don't, like, some people are very good at, like, telling you, hey, you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to be there, but sometimes they don't communicate. And then you don't want to seem like you're the chump who's not listening.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on. So be very aware, make friends, try to have fun, have something to do, but also kind of understand that you're very valuable, because I think that's one thing when you're a talent and you're not part of production, especially on sets where you don't know people, it kind of makes you feel like you're just like off to the side and you're not worth much, and they're doing all the big bad stuff and you're just there looking pretty or whatever. So I think it's like easy to feel like you're not, especially in the beginning, you're not important or you're not like an impressive person, but I think realizing that you are, and like having that hold that confidence, and it's okay if you're not there to like work all day and you have to sit a lot, just make sure you retain that confidence, and don't look, because I would always be like, oh, I don't know, don't do that, because I thought that was cute. I don't think it is, because
so that's the end of the questions. I feel like we've got a great sense of who you are. And now we're going to go into the game, which is One Gotta Go.
Okay.
Simple game.
Okay.
I'll just reiterate the rules. You pick one of these pieces of paper and you read it out loud, and you say one has to go, and you read the one that has to go and explain why.
Okay. You guys look mischievous.
Okay. Guests always go first, and then you can pass it that way.
Okay. What if I don't know what's in here? Would that be embarrassing? Pancakes or waffles? My stomach. Oh my god. I feel like I know waffles taste better, but I'll say waffles gotta go because there's something with my body and my ritualistic behavior where I'm always gonna order a pancake. Fuck. God damn it. This is
So
upsetting.
no more Waffle House.
No more waffles.
Oh my god, I have great memories at Waffle House. But I ordered pancakes at Waffle House.
They don't serve pancakes at Waffle
They don't?
House. No,
I must have gotten waffle.
she ain't never been.
I have. In college. Okay, your turn. So let me.
One has to go. Your favorite film or your favorite place to eat? My favorite film could go.
Which is,
Because you still gotta eat, right?
Yeah.
you can eat at other places.
And you can.
No, you can't.
What's your favorite place to eat?
I don't have one.
What the hell?
What's your favorite film?
Right now, my favorite film is Sweeney Todd.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Can you
so-
sing a little number from that?
Hell no.
Something tells me that you probably have a really good voice.
Years ago.
Oh, that
I'm
means
too
she
old
does.
now.
Ooh, this is easy. Valentine's Day or Veterans Day? Valentine's. I
Valentine's
care
have to go?
less. Yeah, I do not care about Valentine's Day at all. I think it is such a consumerist holiday that they just put out there. I do not care.
Do you do anything for Valentine's Day?
Nope.
By principle or just because you forget what day it is?
Both, honestly.
Do you get mad if your boyfriend doesn't, like, acknowledge it a little bit? Or be like,
No.
hey.
No, I don't care. I'll get mad if he doesn't recognize my birthday. That's the only thing.
Oh, that would be an issue with me.
If he doesn't recognize my birthday, that's when I'm like, you fucker. But anything else,
Has
I
that
don't
happened?
care. No. Mm-mm.
Oh,
And you guys have been together for how long?
9 years.
That's so nice.
But that can't happen. Isn't his birthday like really close?
Yeah,
to
we're
yours?
20 days apart.
Yeah.
When's your
So he's
birthday?
not gonna forget.
September 30th.
So you're
Libra.
and is that like a zebra? Like Libra is like I don't know what Libras are like.
That's the scale.
No, it's a scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the
Libra is a
only
scale. I thought Gemini was
non-
a scale.
No,
Gemini is the two faces.
Oh, like the villain in Dark Knight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Two
My
faces.
mom's a Gemini.
Two faces. Yeah. So was mine.
It does it check?
Yes,
Mine too.
it does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 1000%.
But yeah.
One has to go. Baked mac and cheese or bacon. I don't eat that much of either that often, but I had a lot of baked mac and cheese recently.
Was it good?
It was good, and it's been messing up my sleep cycle.
Oh.
I've been
Are
sleeping
you
a lot.
dreaming about cheese?
Maybe it's too much cheese. I'm gonna go with baked mac and cheese. Gotta go.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say bacon.
Nah, because
Like-
bacon goes on everything. I had
That's
bacon on
true.
an ice cream sundae once. It was amazing.
I'm sure it was. I heard they have like donut and bacon sandwiches at a carnival somewhere in the world.
That was like a huge thing. Was that the cronut?
I
Cronut?
don't
That
know.
was a huge thing about bacon
Cronut.
and donuts, like back in 2009.
Yeah.
People were like in lines and blocks
Oh,
around the
wow.
corner and everything because they had nothing else to do, I guess.
All right, your turn. Pick.
Okay. Dancing or karaoke?
That's just mean.
I wanted to take dance lessons, but I did a lot of karaoke last year. I did a lot of karaoke. I had a birthday party that you came to where I tried to like, we were all like singing and we all went outside and we started singing as a group and then my neighbor like on a Saturday night opened her window and she was like, stop it.
Oh.
Told you to keep it down, you crazy kids.
Yeah, I said, it's Saturday night. Who goes to, you're in the city, lady. Oh.
Whichever one you choose to go, you can't do ever again.
Ugh.
I guess dancing has to go.
No dancing?
I feel like I will sing.
So you're not gonna dance at your brother's wedding?
I'll sing. Nobody will be happy about that, but I'll sing. Oh no.
That's
You know what? No, I'll sing because you can stand and sing, and you can like. What if you're tired? I got a lot to do.
I guess. But at Haley's Halloween party, you danced the entire day.
Well, I had to. I was one of the hosts, I think, somehow. I didn't even know I was hosting.
No more of that. Well, that's the end of the game. Thanks for playing.
Yes, thank you.
Hope
Which-
I was a good guest.
Brings
Oh, yeah,
us
for sure.
to our last and final segment, which are words of inspiration. Would you care to leave our listeners and viewers with something inspiring?
Yes. Okay, I think as a person who does a lot of comparison and has always kind of done that with or without knowing it, I think it's really important to recognize your own like value in who you are and like your own skill sets, because you do have them. And just because the world is spinning around you and there are people around you doing what you're doing or a million other things and there's a million other things going on does not mean that, you know, you don't have something like important to say or to do. And we don't live in like a equal resourced environment, so it can be discouraging. But I do think it's important to know that like talent is cultivated. It's not, you're not, some people are born with it, I guess, but I don't believe in just knowing how to do something and being great. I don't really believe in passion as like the leading figure in accomplishing something. I think you cultivate passion, and you know, it's okay that it doesn't feel like razzle dazzle when you're, you know, doing something creative, and it's okay if it ever feels, it's great when it feels great and smooth, but it's okay, you're not doing it wrong if it feels tedious or if you're blocked creatively or this or that. That's part of it, and you're not wrong for it, and you're not lacking anything for it. You just got to keep on going and like, you know? Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
So go you. And go Wildcats.
And the Senators. Go Senators.
And,
Senators.
and yeah, y'all got to change your mascot.
One last thing. Whenever I help you with self-tapes and you do the slate, you have a very lovely name. So can you say your name on our way out for the outro?
Sure. But are you saying that when I say it in the self-tapes, I'm not saying it in a way that highlights it? What are you saying?
I'm saying you have a very lovely name. It sounds nice. It's
Okay.
musically.
Okay. No. Do I just say my name now?
Pretend you're doing a self-tape.
Okay. He tells me eat before I do it because every time I come over, my stomach's growling.
You said today this was your first meal,
Yes.
and it's like 1 o'clock.
Well, yeah, and I'm already tipsy. Damn. Okay. Thanks for listening, listeners. Have a fantastic day. This has been Pratigya Paudel.
Lovely.
Hi, Mom.
NPR.
NPR, yeah.
This is Tiny Desk.
Okay, so that's another episode,
Yes.
Love you guys.
Keep creating.
and we'll see you next time.
Yay.